Hi guys, welcome to the Darkness channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. This is just too much, said Aika, getting off Sayari's bed. She then made her way to her desk. How can I believe that you've been seeing someone who isn't alive? That would mean that you saw a ghost. And ghosts aren't real. I told you what I had to say was strange, but I think it was Shizuko that killed Nami. I was on the phone with her when it happened. I didn't tell the police because they wouldn't have believed me, but I heard Shizuko's voice. She told Nami not to turn around. Nami killed herself because she couldn't handle the guilt over what we had done, said Aika. That's what happened. No, you have to believe me. If what I'm saying is true, then none of us are safe. Any of us could be next to die. The words that were coming out of Sayari's mouth were falling upon deaf ears as Aika's full attention had become fixated on the picture lying on the Sayari's desk that had been found in Shizuko's bag. This is a cute picture, said Aika, who was clearly trying to change the subject. Did you draw it? Yes, I drew it a long time ago. When Aika flipped the picture over, it was discovered who the girls in the picture were. A note had been scribbled that read, Sayari and Shizuko. Do you think there's something wrong with me? Believing a ghost is responsible for what happened to Nami? Asked Sayari. No, replied Aika. In times like these, people can get so stressed that they start seeing things that aren't really there. She then looked at her watch. I was supposed to meet Hana, but I'll see you later, okay? As Aika was making her way out of the room, Sayari grabbed her by the wrist, preventing her from leaving. Please, at least remember what I told you. As Sayari spoke, she kept her head lowered to prevent Aika from seeing that she was crying. You don't have to believe me, but you need to at least remember and look out for yourself. Aika had cut her trip to Sayari's house short to meet with Hana. Though she had told Sayari she had plans to see Hana, Aika had no such meeting planned. But the revelation that Sayari and Shizuko knew one another was information Aika knew Hana had to hear. The two agreed on the phone to meet at a local coffee shop to talk. So Sayari was friends with Shizuko when the two were young, said Hana, stirring a milkshake with her straw. This is information we can use. How? Asked Aika. I can tell that Sayari is getting ready to do something stupid. She might even be thinking about going to the police. But if we get that picture and show it to the police, that could get them to stop harassing us and focus only on Sayari. That shows that Sayari had a connection to Shizuko, while the two of us have no direct link to her. The police? I don't think we should get them involved. It can't be helped, said Hana. They've been sticking their noses in our business ever since the day. This is the only way to get them to leave the two of us alone. But what if the police don't believe us? There's no way to prove the picture is even real. They could accuse us of forgetting it. We would start to look even more guilty than before if we try to make Sayari look like the only one responsible. All right, then what do you suggest we do? If we get that picture, then we can threaten to go to the police if Sayari decides to confess, said Aika. I knew it sounds harsh, but we have to do whatever it takes to ensure that none of us takes the blame for what happened. How do you intend we get the police? Asked Hannah. Let's wait until she comes back to school. When I saw the picture, it was with her schoolwork. I'm sure she'll bring it to school with her. Then it's settled. We'll use the picture to blackmail Sayari into keeping her mouth shut. It's such a good plan that I should have come up with it myself. Hannah then took a bite of her piece of cake. Chocolate tastes even better when you know you're going to live a long life safe and free the way God intended. Hannah Chen, do you really think Nami killed herself? Of course she did, replied Hannah. You saw how strange she was acting. She couldn't handle the guilt. But the same thing won't happen to us. Understand? You just have to keep telling yourself that we didn't do anything wrong. Why do you ask? Do you think something else happened that night? Aika shook her head. No, she replied. A few days later, Sayari returned to school. There were more than a few strange looks from classmates as well as whispers behind her back. Everyone had heard how she was the one who had discovered Nami's body, and most thought that was more than a bit suspicious. During a break from class, Aika invited Sayari to the roof to finish the talk they started a few days later. You know, said Aika, clinging tightly to the fence surrounding to the perimeter of the roof. I've been getting this strange feeling lately. It almost feels like someone is watching me. But when I turn around, there's no one there. Call it a guilty conscience or even paranoia. But no matter how hard I try, this feeling won't go away. Have you been thinking about confessing? Asked Sayari. Never. Have you thought about telling the police? The lack of an answer was nearly as damaging as answering yes. Aika took Sayari by the shoulders. You can't think about doing that. Not at a time like this. The police don't have any evidence that we had anything to do with what happened to Shizuko. With time, this will all just go away. As Aika and Sayari conversed on the roof, Hana began a mad rummage through Sayari's bag. It took no time for her to find what it was for which she was searching. How cute, she said, a false smile upon her face. Those two must have been good friends. I wonder how little Shizuko would have felt if she had known what Sayari was going to do to her once they grew up. You have to promise me that you won't confess what we did, said Aika. No matter how much you think it will free your soul from guilt. Only bad things will happen. What happened to Nami, that won't happen to the rest of us. But Sayari wanted to tell Aika that what happened to Nami wasn't the result of a guilty conscience, but a result of a vengeful spirit. But believing that her theory that it was something supernatural that was to blame would only be dismissed as nonsense, Sayari chose to keep what she had to say to herself. Hana arrived shortly thereafter. I thought I'd find you two up here, she said, sounding as if she hadn't a care in the world. Hey, Sayari-chan, guess what I found? Let me give you a hint. It's something that's going to make sure none of us gets into trouble. She then pulled out a picture of Sayari and Shizuko from behind her back. What are you doing with that? Asked Sayari, who made a desperate lunge to get the picture back. Unfortunately, she was unable to take it. She then turned to Aika. Did you tell her about it? Why? It was for your own good, Sayari-chan, said Aika. Me and Hana thought you might be getting ready to go to police, so we had to do something to keep you from doing it. Bingo, said Hana. Aika told me about the little talk you two had the other day. She told me how you and Shizuko used to be the best of friends. So, if you're still thinking about going to the police, then we'll show them this picture. It proves that you know Shizuko. All me and Aika have to do is tell the truth. We didn't know her at all. There won't be anything the police can do. They'll have to clear us, while you take all the blame. I wonder what they'll come up with as motive. Maybe unrequited love gone wrong. Don't feel bad, Sayari-chan, said Aika. Now we can finally move on. I can't believe you told her, said Sayari. You shouldn't keep secret, said Hana. It isn't very nice. A good friend should always tell you everything, just like Aika did. You told her everything? Asked Aika. Even about the ghost? Aika's eyes bulged. Ghost? Asked Hana. What are you talking about? After not receiving an answer from Sayari, Hana turned to Aika. What is she talking about? Aika was just as hesitant as Sayari was to answer such a question. Answer me. Sayari thinks maybe it was Shizuko's ghost that killed Nami, not suicide, like everyone thinks, replied Aika. Are you serious? Asked Hana, who immediately began laughing. You can't be. That's the stupidest. Hana stopped herself before finishing. The delight she had just been showing was quickly wiped away. You would have to be crazy to think such a thing. Is that it? Do you want us to think you're crazy? Rather than look into Hana's angry eyes, Sayari turned her gaze to the ground. If the police ever figure out what happened that day, you're going to stick to your story that Shizuko came back to seek revenge. They'll end up locking you away in an asylum, while me and Aika get a death sentence. You're going to be laughing while me and Aika hang." "That's not true," said Sayari. "Hey, Aika, Sayari's plan is a pretty good one, don't you think? Maybe we should follow her lead." Hana then pointed at Sayari. "Look out! There's a ghost behind you. Whatever you do, don't turn around or you'll end up like Nami." "Shut up!" exclaimed Sayari, lunging at Hana, sidestepping the foolhardy attack. Hana tripped Sayari, sending her crashing to the ground. "Do you really want to do this with me?" asked Hana. "Even if there was a ghost, it would be the least of your problems. I'm not the one you should be afraid of." "Come on, Hana-chan, let's go," said Aika. "You had better take what I said seriously," said Hana. As it did at such an hour, darkness had taken hold of the city. Aika had just wrapped up another session at cram school, but she had stayed longer than usual on this day, going over notes with classmates. On the walk home, she decided it would be a good idea to call her mother and tell her that she would be home late. "Mom, why won't you pick up?" asked Aika as she received nothing more than numerous rings from her home phone. "You are so lazy." The ringing then came to a sudden halt as Aika lost reception on her cell phone, lifting her phone into the air. Aika tried in vain to regain a signal. "Stupid phone. Just when I need you the most, you go out on me." On Aika's walk home, there was usually some amount of activity going on, but being out much later than usual, there was nary another soul to be found. The stores she always passed by were closed and with their lights turned off. It created more than enough places for someone to hide away from human eyes. Unable to shake the feeling that someone was watching her, Aika timidly looked behind her. There was just enough illumination from a nearby street light to expose someone lurking in the shadows. The figure was making no movement whatsoever. All the shadow stranger did was stare at Aika. This prompted Aika to quicken her pace, though she could hear only her own footsteps. Aika was sure that whoever it was who was watching her was now following her. Aika ran as fast as she could and didn't stop until her body had completely run out of energy. It took nearly every ounce of courage she had within her, but Aika eventually looked back to see if her pursuer was still behind her. To her relief, she found there was no one to be found. As she was catching her breath, Aika caught a glimpse of herself in a traffic mirror. Standing behind Aika in the reflection was Shizuko. Having just been running for her life and now seeing someone whom she thought to be dead standing right behind her proved too much for Aika to handle. She lost consciousness and collapsed on the street. Aika didn't wake until the next morning. She had been found by a good Samaritan and taken to a nearby hospital. She was questioned by police after waking, and in the afternoon she was paid a visit by Hannah. Rather than starting the visit off by asking how Aika was doing, Hannah wanted to know how the visit from the detectives went. "They didn't send those two idiots again, did they?" she asked, as if they weren't already suspicious enough. "No," replied Aika. "They sent a couple of female detectives. They think this was a case of stalking. They think whoever it was who found me probably scared the stalker away before he could do anything. That's good, but I'm sure those stooges will find out about this. Then they'll start up again with all their questions." "Oh, Hannah-chan," said Aika, who looked hesitant to continue. Thanks for staying till the end. Please subscribe to more stories.